splattered like a million exploded firecrackers. Miguel lined up toothpicks in the shape of a rocket ship on the counter. Looking at his family sandwich shop was not Michael's ideas of an exciting Saturday afternoon. Neither was doing homeworks. He had an essay due on Monday, and of course he hadn't even started. It's slow now, Miguel's mom said. Go start your essay. It's too hard. Miguel munched the last pickle from the jar. I can write an essay about reading is an adventure. That doesn't sound so bad, Miguel's mom said. It does to me. Peel these cheesy side box cucumbers over to him. Or start your essay. Not much of a choice, Miguel thought. Fine, I'll do the essay. He dragged himself to the back room and plopped down on a box. He stared at the lines on his paper. His mind was empty, like the pickle jar. How could reading be an adventure? The loft. A tall red ladder stood along the wall, and Miguel wandered over to it. Miguel's mom used the ladders to reach the high boxes in the storage room. The ladder was so old that strips of red paint peeled off the wooden rungs. Miguel put his foot on the first rung and looked up, a lot he'd never noticed. Miguel tucked himself quickly up the ladder. Crack! The topmost rung snapped. Miguel began to slide. His heart raced. The red paint chips fluttered down into his hand like confetti. Miguel caught his foot on a rung and pushed upward, leaping up on the loft. He made it. Miguel found dusty boxes stacked to the ceiling, old magazines and newspapers littering the ground, and a sagging purple couch. Old posters plastered wall, posters that even their faded condition screamed with color and interesting design. One read "The Great Galardo." It showed a hooded figure beneath arch of shooting star, a glittery black chest with a lock fist snugly up against the couch. Tiny pictures carved into the words seemed to dance across the lid. She sailed. Horses trotted, stars twinkled. Miguel looked down at his feet and found an old skeleton key. Its shape and shine had almost gone away, but the golden letter G still beamed. Though its dullness, Miguel knew next to the chest, cleared cobwebs from the keyhole and turned the key in the lock. It clicked. Benjamin's bathtub. Miguel lifted the lid to an old chest, hoping to find gold coins, jewelry, or swords inside. He peeked inside, where his heart sank. The chest was full, not with treasures, but books. Who would give old books in such cool junk? He asked himself, picking up a thick black book with fancy lettering. The story of Benjamin Franklin. He wanted a boring biology. Then he tried to put the book back, but for some reason he felt he had to open it. He focused on the words, chapter Benjamin's bathtub, and his voice distracted him. "Miguel, what are you doing?" she called out from below from the counter. "Reading, really?" his mom asked. "Yeah, really." He glanced up at the words. During the American Revolution, weather came strangely fuzzy and dense on the page. Asked Benjamin to Franklin Frank. Was Congress go by? Miguel squeezed his eyes shut. His balance shifted as if the floor moved beneath him. Sadly, Asta, his eye tingled his tongue. Miguel no longer smelled the dusty old loft. I am an old man of 70, his man's voice called out on a previous journey to France. Miguel opened his eyes to find himself aboard covered a bathtub. One end of the lid was open, and popped out an old man's head. Temple, my grandson, America shall be free. The man looked directly at Miguel, and imagined on the face of an old $half that he had gotten up from his own grandpa flashed before Miguel. This was Benjamin Franklin. Miguel has been transported into the biology. He flipped open, and now Ben Franklin thought Michael was his grandson Temple. Ah, I wish I were full health like you, Ben said. Then I could make my daily swim and see. Now I must resort to this bath to soothe my aching joints. The girl tried not to be cold. Biologists could reveal intimate details about a person. Miguel remembered learning that Ben Franklin traveled to France as for help in America's fight against the British. He couldn't imagine that Franklin actually walked along a bathtub. After so many questions, Miguel started, but before he could finish, Ben Franklin's face glowed. Michael shut his eyes and held his breath. The smell of the loft once again tickled his nose. He was back. Under the cowboy's hat, Miguel shut the biology and put it back in the chest. How could that have happened? He thought maybe reading biology isn't so boring after all. A leather-bound book titled Riding Rock Drums sat in the row next to Ben Franklin Biology. Would be Western, Michael said, looking at the cowboys on the cover. He opened the book and read, just as Michael turning the page to chapter 5. Under the cowboy's head, the world flipped upside down and backwards. Well, what is this? Wait a minute. A cowboy mask could ride the roundups and knew the widest tricks of all. Alright. Yeah. Miguel covered his eyes with his hand. A strong wind that blew against his cheek, brought with a smell of sweet sagebrush and stinky cow manure. Miguel was on the prairie, surrounded by a dozen cowboys and hundreds of longhorn cattle. Lasso those horns! A cowboy shouted at him from behind. A rose trembled at Miguel's hands as he realized he'd become a cowboy in the Old West. Before Michael could take a breath, the cowboy slid out of his lodge, flew past Michael, lassoed by the bull's horn, and circled his stallion around the tree. Michael stared in awe. Cowboy Max, one of the northern cowhands, shouted, "It's still as quick as lightning." "Get move on, Greenie," Cowboy Max said, nodding his head toward Miguel. Miguel remembered that cows' hands in the Old West, those longhorn cattle up trails uh, from Texas to Kansas, being called a greenie must mean that he didn't know what he was doing. Boy, they were right, he thought. Back at camp, the smell of coffee and smoked meat hung in the air. Miguel watched the man sitting Wait a minute. See what is? A breath camp smelled smoky, and smoke behind the air. Beyond watched the man sitting near the fire, playing poker and telling stories. Cowboy Max removed his black hat and outfit a long gray tied with red ribbon. Miguel smiled drunk. Cowboy Max was a lady. She smiled at Miguel. Sorry, Greenie, thought you knew. Instead, she said, they call you Cowboy Max. It's short for Max Man, she said. Some people are like women who wear breeches, just and speak up for themselves. You're still right, you bet, said Machine. I am my happiest when I'm with my heart. You're brave, said Miguel. Just lucky, she said. I get treated fairly in this sport. A lot of women ranchers don't. Miguel had many questions, but the stars began to blur. He felt dizzy, so shut his eyes. In an instant, Miguel found himself at the loft. The creature from Coburnus crater. Miguel sat down on the floor. Life was tough on the prairie, especially for women. He never imagined westerns were so interesting. It was getting late, but Miguel had tried one more book, a small book with a silver moon on the cover, called The Creature from Copernicus. Crater stabbed his attention. Science fiction, he thought. That's weird. The first chapter starts on page 214. Miguel began to read. Colonel Chan guarded the underground lunar outpost. He hadn't seen another living thing for 2 years until suddenly the words streamed together. A dangerous and mysterious creature appeared near the crater. Miguel shivered and closed his eyes. The air seeping into the nostrils smelled like artificial, like air at a hospital. The computer beeped in the distance. Miguel opened his eyes to find himself in an underground laboratory. Countertops were jammed with high-tech equipment, cameras, scanners, and other strange contraptions. Jars full of rock, dust, and liquids filled with ships. Miguel picked up a jar and read, Confidence Crater Lunar Rocks. Lunar rocks? Miguel whispered. I'm on the moon. Miguel raced about the lab's door and thought long. Silence gone later, hoping to find a view of the moon. He followed the red lights at the dotted in the door. He pushed open the door. That read exit room. Something beeped in the pocket of his jumpsuit. Michael pulled out a radio communicator. Colonel Chan, a woman said, this is mission control. Miguel pressed the red button and tried to sound official. This is Colonel Chan. This is Colonel Lanty, she said. We need to get you out now and investigate some strange activities near the great crater. Miguel yelped, being on the moon alone. Be terrified. Get out there now, said, and report back what you find. Colonel Lanty said, I can do it, he told himself, as he tried to figure out how to work in the spacesuit. After all, I'm an astronaut now. He put on his helmet, entered the door, and stepped onto the board. The skies were deep black. Miguel stepped forward and hopped into the air. Lunar gravity made him as light as a feather. I must weigh less than 20 pounds, he thought. He leaped and jumped across the silver-gray hills, leaving a bookmark in the dust. He looked up and stopped dead in his track. There in the sky hung a crescent-shaped earth. Then Miguel sensed a dark shape moving toward him. He turned, and something struck him from behind, sending him sailing through the air like a helium balloon that had been cut free. He couldn't stop. Miguel floated past a tower, clung to the side, and shimmied down to the ground. There, Miguel came face to face with the ugliest creature he ever seen. Buckling laser eyes glowed from the fleshy face of a creature almost as wise as the moon. Miguel threw his body forward, housekeeping out of there as fast as he could. Red laser eyes shot whistled past Miguel. He longed for the lunar outpost in a panic. His breath fogged his visor. He tripped on a rock and tumbled forward, doing a complete somersault in the air. The creature groaned. Its gooey arms almost upon him. Miguel tapped all the buttons on the floor panel, finally opening the door. He slid through just in time. Miguel stumbled in. He accidentally activated radio communication. Mission control. Something tried to kill me. Miguel gasped, but before anyone could answer, as the room was blurred, Miguel closed his eyes and was happy to feel soft, warm couch beneath him. Great-Grandpa George. Miguel slumped over onto a chest. Science fiction was terrifying and thrilling at all the same time, he thought. The shark would be closed soon, and Miguel knew that after his mom locked the door, she was at the disease essay. He put on the books back and leaving the key in the lock. When he got down off the loft, Miguel picked up his pencil. Fate and good gains ideas were fresh in his mind, so Miguel would flow easily like pouring syrup on pancakes. Miguel finished his outline and read it to his mom. Not bad for someone who thinks reading is boring, she said. I found some stuff in the loft back there. The great-grandpa stuff, his mom said. Great-Grandpa George? Yes, he was a magician called Great Gradio. Really? He performed all the world, she said, and he ran his mother's shop right here. Why didn't you tell me? Maybe I was waiting for the right time. Michael blinked. You know the most magical thing about him? Miguel's heart raced. What? He loved to read more than anything else. Michael smiled. His mom smiled back. Thanks to the great gallows book. Maybe Miguel did too. He couldn't wait to find more adventures in the glittering black chest in the loft.